Hi guys, in this video I want to answer all the questions about the Variomatic Propeller, the first in-flight adjustable propeller for paramotors in the world. There will be questions about why this way, why not that way, how about, what if, when and for how much. Stay with us. Everything on an aircraft must have a reason. Ignore the status quo, imagine from scratch and build what you can justify with science. Fail 5 times to succeed once. This is how we innovate paramotors, and for you, understanding the science behind will make you a smarter pilot. First of all, thank you for all the comments on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram saying how excited you are about this propeller, and I have to say I'm equally excited about that, and you deserve an apology for me for being quiet for quite a while about that project. So the Variomatic Pro project was a little bit on hold for 3 reasons. First, we got a baby. Secondly, I spent a large part of the summer in Iceland, and also we had family vacation, so I really couldn't focus on that. And thirdly, the primary reason why it was kind of on hold is this thing. It's the pod harness, a regular paragliding pod harness with climb assist, which is basically meant for paragliding in the flatlands. Now, this has been the major project for us for the last 5 years, and it's finally finished. So R&D is finished. Now we started serial production, and we'll launch it on the market very, very soon. Great, and that's great news because finally I will have more time to do other R&D stuff, and there's a lot of going on. Variomatic Propeller, I promise this is the priority number 1 for now, but there's also the paramotor computer, throttle prototype, we did a video about that. Tandem bars, I have an idea about some new geometry that we could try, fuel bladder, extra 6 liters of fuel for the really long flights, and a helmet prototype that are another unfinished project. But the Variomatic Propeller is the priority number 1 for the moment. Now, what happened in the latest time? I was flying at Old Spring and I was very happy with it. No surprises, everything works fine. My colleagues did the fatigue and stress analysis. We had to add a little bit of the material on the hub, but because it was kind of on the edge, and I finished the final design, did all the modifications, and today I sent the final files for CNC machining and to the propeller guys to do the carbon fiber overlay. So I believe the design is finished. Now it's time to answer lots of your questions that you had. We received lots of technical questions. I was actually surprised how spot on you guys were with the questions. So you were asking about many technical options and alternatives that we were considering during the R&D process as well. So I'm actually prepared to answer that. First, why centrifugal forces and not aerodynamic? Centrifugal forces would be a lot easier, but aerodynamic forces are there, whether you like it or not. Sure you like, because that's actually the thrust. So the aerodynamic forces are already there. In order to use centrifugal forces to actuate the pitch, we would need to add weights. Why adding weights? So option number 1, using aerodynamic forces that are already there. If it wouldn't work, we would try centrifugal forces, but it did. So we didn't have to add any additional weight for that. Synchronized pitch. Some of you guys suggested it would be much better to have 1 spring only. I totally agree, but in order to actuate both blades with 1 spring only, we would need to connect them somehow with a mechanism that would add some play on the joints, and also it would increase the overall volume, so the whole hub would be larger, and there will be eventually some play with each pin, with each joint. You just introducing some play. So we decided to use the most direct contact of the spring with the prop. What if 1 spring fails? Now honestly, there is a very little likelihood that it would fail, because we are using literally 10% of the effective range of that spring. It's possible to compress that spring by 20 millimeters, and you're only compressing like 3. So we are putting very little stress on that spring. That spring is capable to take a lot more. So there's very little likelihood that it would break. If it would, those two blades are interconnected anyway. So what it would happen if one breaks, then you have less resistance provided by that spring because it's only one instead of two. That means that prop would automatically immediately switch to 10 degrees and hit the stopper. So you would have a regular prop in the end. Flexible propellers, why not using? Actually, flexible propellers could do the same thing, most likely. The problem is the R&D process is super complicated, because if we realize we want it more flexible, that means we need to build a new prop and put less carbon and more fiberglass or more Kevlar, which is more flexible, and see what it does. And if it still doesn't work, then another iteration. So the R&D process is very long. We have no guarantee the flexibility of both blades is always the same. So it's just a pretty risky, complicated, long process. With springs, it's a lot easier because you order different springs, you can set different preload, and you can play a lot easier. And we succeeded on pretty much first try, so it's a proof of the decision was correct. Cold weather, that's a very valid question. I don't think we operate in such a wide range of temperatures, but actually this week I'm flying to United States for the Wingman Challenge, and I'm gonna fly with the Variomatic Prop the whole route through. So more than 2,000 kilometers, more than 1,100 miles, I want to fly with a Variomatic Prop, and it will be cold, it will be hot, I will see. Are there any drawbacks? I didn't notice. Does it require precise throttle control? Not at all. You don't notice the difference. You start with 13 and it changes the pitch very smoothly. You cannot identify the point when it does something. The only way you know it does something is that it's a lot quieter on level flight and you have the same climb rate as you are used to. So you know there's something different, and you know that you have less RPM on level flight, but that's it. There's no point that you could identify now it did something. No, you don't need to change anything. Availability. I finished the CAD designs and I sent all the files to the CNC machining guys in 3 days. I'm leaving to United States for pretty much 1 month. I'm very much hoping that after coming back from US, finishing the Wingman Challenge, coming back, we will see some progress that the guys in the CNC machining and the propeller factory will make the prototype, or at least come close to it. That prototype should look exactly as the final product. What if I break a blade? Well, then you buy a new one, just one. What I mean by that, all Scout propellers are always balanced to one single piece that we have in the factory. Any two blades of Scout propellers, they fit, they match. And we will do the same manufacturing policy and the same strategy for the Variomatic Prop. So if you hit a stone, you trash, and it's not possible to repair, you trash that one blade and you buy a new one. Will it be more expensive? Yeah, but probably not that much of a difference. As long as the hub with all the bearings and springs and levers is not damaged, then you only need to change one prop blade, and that shouldn't be any more expensive than a regular prop. How about 3 blades? Now, no. I don't intend to produce a 3-blade propeller for at least for this engine, for the Variomatic Monster. Why not? Because previously we developed a 3-blade prop and we have not seen any real benefits. The sound was cool, the sound was really good, a little bit less vibration, but obviously more expensive, obviously heavier, obviously slower to spin up, no more power, no more fuel efficiency. So really, even theoretically, there is not much benefit of a 3-blade prop over a 2-blade. Variomatic propeller is possible to make 3-blade. Technically, it's not a problem, but it's just I don't see the real reason for that. Next question, different engines. This one is developed for the regular Variomatic Monster Plus 2.68 reduction ratio. The next step will be obviously the factory R. So I want to adapt this propeller to the factory R engine. Atom 80 would be nice. Automated would be nice. Polini's, yeah, we will see. We will see. Some of you guys asked about the Quattro. Yeah, that's an old story. A few years ago, we were part of development, or we participated in development of a four-stroke engine. We stepped out of that project. Honestly, I don't know if it's still alive or not. I wish them good luck. I'm always a big fan of any innovation. So if they are still working on the four-stroke, I hope we'll see some good results, but honestly, I have no idea. Ultralights. Yes, this propeller is definitely suitable for some ultralights as well. They basically have the same need as us, although they fly a little bit faster. When we finish the project for the paramotor propellers, we may adapt for ultralights, and it shouldn't be that difficult because Dushan, our propeller guy that we cooperate with, very smart boy, they produce propellers for Rotax engines. Actually, that's how they started, producing propellers for ultralights, and then they started to produce propellers for us. So they have the profiles, they have the know-how, and we just need to apply this Variomatic mechanism, test springs and so on, but it should be doable, shouldn't be a big problem. But as we are a paramotor paragliding company, it's not that of a high priority, honestly. Now, the next set of questions are pure speculation, honestly. Electronic fuel injection. Will the EFI benefit from a Variomatic prop? Yes, I believe so. Although the benefits and fuel efficiency gains are not coming from the prop. In fact, it's not that the prop would be 33% more efficient at 13 degrees compared to 10 degrees. No, that difference is negligible. It's the engine being way more efficient because it's running at lower RPM. And why I believe that also EFI engines would benefit from that? Because our cars, fuel-injected cars, have lower consumption if you switch to the high gear and drive the engine on a lower RPM. So I believe that the fuel-injected paramotors will, maybe not equally, but similarly benefit from the Variomatic propeller. Will the electric engines benefit from the Variomatic prop? Electric engines would need it the most because they need efficiency and they need to extend the range because that's the limitation these days. I have doubts. I don't think the electric engine would be more efficient at lower RPM. I think the efficiency of the electric engine is pretty much the same. So I don't believe electric engines would benefit from that much. Price. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. Guys, please be patient. When it comes to price, how much will it cost? Christmas. Let's say at Christmas. Now, there is one comment that nobody posted. There is one particular comment, there is one particular question that nobody posted on YouTube or Facebook, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And that comment is, nobody wrote, "I don't believe this." And I just realized that nobody expressed doubts that it works. That, guys, is a huge sign of trust. That it's incredible, it's so rewarding that actually, well, come on YouTube with these bold claims and nobody questions that. That's very rewarding, and I can only promise you that we will keep it transparent. We will keep transparency as the primary principle for all our YouTube videos, and it may backfire because there's a tandem bars prototype that I want to test next time, and it could easily happen it won't work. But we will make a video even if it fails, because every failure is actually a lesson learned. Even knowing that something doesn't work helps in the future. So guys, Again, thank you very much for your trust. I really appreciate it, and I can promise we will continue with these videos. We'll continue documenting all our R&D efforts. Here they are. This is the list of R&D projects that I want to work on in the near future, and I very much hope we will see some fine results. Hi guys, I just came back from the United States where I finished the Wingman Challenge 1100 kilometers unsupported paramotor adventure. The event was a great success, but I have to admit it was kind of a failure for the Variomatic Prop. It didn't work properly, eventually stopped working at all, but there are lessons learned. I have learned a lot, and I know what to do in the next R&D process. I will share everything in the next video, so stay tuned. Hopefully see you soon. Ciao.